synchronize with the SQL server. So this is typical structure of the project, and I run it in a data collector. Open it. And at this moment in the project, I did not set any users. So it means that there is predefined users will only connect and synchronize it. But now I'm starting, so I have completely new project. I already have some data, so there is one plot, and I would like to create a new server project. So in the synchronization, the first option is create server project. When I click on it, so this window, I believe, is very familiar to you. So you can select where the server project will be stored. Actually, it will create the folder with the same subfolders like my current project, but instead of the database, there will be only a link to the database in the SQL server. I can name this project, for example, test server users conference, and then I can select the database format. So one of the format here is available is MS SQL server. When I click on it, I will get this window where I can set the address to the server. So you can see the same as Ondra used. So this is some virtual server installed somewhere in our office. And I have this admin user, but of course, if your IP is different, so you will fill it here. So you can check the connection, if the connection is running. And because for admin, I have allowed to see all the databases, so I can see all the databases. So you can also see that this Monis OPL, which Ondra uses, is also available here. If the new database I will create in this MS SQL server will have name I used in this part. So in this case, test server user conference. So and appears in the list of existing databases. If I select already existing database and I have a right to replace it, so it can be replaced, of course, but it will be replaced by empty one, and you will lose data if there are already some existing. But you will get warning that the database is existing, so don't worry. So I can click OK, and the internet will work. So now this computer and Field-Map try to connect to the server and create the same structure of the database. And also in my computer, if I go first finish to my folder tab synchro, so you can see that there is create the folder test server user conference, and there is XML where are the connection information. So test server in IFER CZ, the username is admin, and the password is encrypted here, so you can see easily the password. So don't worry that something happened. And this folder actually you can take from this place and put to other users which who want to connect to the same server. So you create the server only once, and then you connect via this project to the server. So now it's done. I have created the database, but at this moment it's empty. So there is no data in the server. And I can have in my project many data, many plots, and I can decide what plots I want to send to the server. Again, in the synchronization option, there is a function add current record of plots, or if your plot is named parcela in Spanish, maybe you written parcela via synchronization. So when I click on it, so I can see all the list of my of users defined for the current project. As I said, in this project I have only admin, so I can give the rights to the admin. And but if I have other users in these groups, or I can even define my own groups, so I can give this group to other users. So click OK, and at this moment, when I confirm it, was recorded in the synchro log in some system table in the database that this plot number 1, which is currently open, should be transferred to the server, and it should belong to the user admin. So then when I go back to synchronization button and around the synchronization and perform synchronization, so here are only two options, so you can synchronize whole project or currently open plot. By scripting, of course, you have more possibilities. You can define that you want to synchronize only plot 5, 7, or by different attributes or whatever. And here is a possibility to synchronize whole project or current plot. I have only one plot, so there's no matter if I select this or that. So perform synchronization, and on the synchro log you can see what is going on. So it's the project is connecting. And on the right side, you can see that from local to server is transferring new plot number 1. The name is core area. And there is some other information from the synchronization. So current information is on the left down corner. So now it's creating indexes of assembly and so on. So of course the speed depends on how fast is the internet and how many data are transferred. So this is quite small plot, but the internet is quite slow. In our office it takes 7 seconds to send this plot to the server. Here it can take 20-30 seconds, maybe more. So it was not 1 minute and 3 seconds, so it was a bit longer, but it's slow, so maybe we've done some minutes. Okay, so, and that's it. So now I have the plot on the server, and the data are there. What now I can do is that I want to give this data to another user. Let's say I will create a new empty project from, of course, the structure has to be same like on the original one. So I can use, for example, the function new project from existing one, and I will store it in this. I will call it my new project, and of course I have to activate that I want to use the synchronization. And as a template, I will select this example project. So now again, it will create in a Firebird database. So if I go to this folder, so you can see here is my new project. The database is FTD, so it's a Firebird. And but if you look to map layer, so you see it's empty. So I just create a new empty project. And now I want to download this data from server to my current project. Because maybe you mentioned that I can run this synchronization from data collector where it's already running. So I have two possibilities. I can create some temporary plot and later delete it, or I can write very simple script in event Field-Map after open project that it runs the synchronization before it asks me to create a new plot. So I can even make a condition if plots record count is 0, then run this script, because later I don't need to run it immediately after I run data collector. I can run it from the plot later. So and the function is project run synchronization. So it has several parameters. So the first parameter is auto start. So I don't want, so I want to have it under control. So I want false, make it backup. Also I don't want to make backup. So also you can write what ID of plots can be used. In this case I don't care about what I want to all. And then there is also parameters to run scripts before synchronization, after synchronization. Also, it's not important for me. So just these 5 parameters, and if I did not make any mistakes, so I can compile the project, the script. So then I can close it, compile the project, it's going on. Connection was successful. And then I can run with the collector again, and I run my new project. And because I wrote the script, so before it's open any plot, or ask me to create the new plot, so it's opening this synchronization window, and I can just perform synchronization because the connection to the server is remembered. Of course, if you move it to other computer, here you can find where is your synchronization project. So this is this. In my case, it was in this E10. Perform synchronization, and now I have empty project. The software now is connecting to the server, but as you can see on the right side, it's not from local to server, but from server to local. So the data are coming from other side. So here in this synchro log or these messages, you can get different messages. For example, if you change the structure of the project, then you will post same way like I posted the plot to synchronization. You will send there a new structure or new couplets or other files. So for all these options, functions, very simple. Just change it. Or if you add another user, automatically the list of users is sent through synchronization. So Martin already mentioned some customer. We have like 70 users using the same system, and when they have a new computer, they always have empty database. First time they log on as administrator, but by scripting it said that the administrator cannot change or create the new server project, but can synchronize. And using the synchronization is download the list of all users. So after this synchronization, you log with your name, with his name, and continue synchronization. So it was finished, so it's opening, and you can see that all my data are also in this new project. So now I can work, delete port trees, add trees, synchronize, send to server, and from other project we can download to other project. This type or this synchronization can be used if you want to share the data like this, but also it's very useful if you have big plots. Let's say this is plot for a few days of work, and you have two systems, and one team starts from this part and other from that part. So and later you know that it's not so easy to put everything together because you cannot have the same ID of trees, so you have to change data before you import it. But if you do it this way, so the team will automatically change the IDs. When you have tree number 1 in one project and tree number 1 in other project, it's no problem because each tree has special GUID, so it's a global unique identification number. And all computers will be different in both. And then change the ID on the second computer and add as a new tree without any problem. So like this, you can also complete projects from more teams. So as you can,
you will have double measured trees, for example, but you cannot exclude that one tree is 2 times measured, but he has unique
now
ID.
if one team measures the same tree and the other team also the same team for the system, it will be 2 different trees.
Yes.
Because it will have 2 different IDs, and I don't believe it will be in millimeter precision the same coordinates. Of course, it cannot recognize like this. So as you can see that when you create a new project, a new server project, it can be also Firebird local. So you can have, you don't need to use the server project. You can have one local Firebird local project as a server and use it to combine the data here. As I said, for this type of using, if you have a big plot where you have more teams, so you don't need to take, you don't need to use MS SQL server. So you can use Firebird local project as a server and combine the data in this Firebird local project.
Petr, can you explain this thing with a little example?
Okay, so I have this my new project. I can create a new server, but not MS SQL, but Firebird local. Call it server, Firebird server. Is finished. If I look to my folder, so you can see that there is another server, so I don't need any connection. So I have just this server. So if I look in Firebird desktop, so you can see it's empty. So there is no data, no plot, no trees, nothing. And the same way I can send the data.
When you do this, you are creating exactly the same structure that you have
Exactly
in
same
this project.
structure, yes.
Because you do from data collector.
No, this function create server project will use the original project and the same structure create a new project in MS SQL, Firebird, Access. So there is different options. And the same way I can add this plot from my project again to admin and synchronize. But this time I will synchronize with Firebird, not with MS SQL, so I don't need any internet connection for this. It should be much faster, it's 7 seconds. And so if I now open this Firebird desktop, so you can see that there are a lot of trees and there is one plot, so the data are here.
But one thing is important is that you should not open a server project directly with data collector. It's same project in fact, but some things are stored differently, and if you, it will not work simply, or it's not. So it's like you should accept it as a storage place from to which you put data or retrieve data, but with which you don't directly work with interface. You can work with desktop, of course, this is possible, but not with Field-Map data collector. Technically, it is possible, of course. You can open this project, but since all the data are stored in blob, and even not only GIS, but also some other secondary data like diameters of dead wood and tree crown projections and so on, so it will not work properly.
Okay. And then you want to put the other half of the inventory plot in that file desktop project server.
Yeah.
You just have to copy it to the other laptop, or how do you connect to the local Firebird?
You must copy it. You
You
just
have to copy it
the
to the other-
project to some place in the same computer because you are using local server, and then you do synchronization from that project to the local server.
Yeah, but you just copy it from one computer to
Yeah.
another. Yeah, okay. Then
So the
it's
same way
also-
you can adjust the structure of the project from
That's
one
easy.
project.
You are
The
starting.
server local Firebird project and impose the structure on several.
So on each computer where you want to run synchronization, you need a Firebird project where you will point data. And then you need this MSSQL connection, let's say. It looks like a Field-Map project, but there are no data, so there is only connection in this XML. So you need this to go through this XML to internet.
But they are speaking about local server.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you want to use the local server, in this case, instead of this XML version, let's say, or this MSSQL connection, so you will have the Firebird server. So you have to copy it, synchronize, then take to other computer, synchronize.
Yeah, but even that is even more easy than it used to be. Yeah, yeah.
But the principles are the same,
Yeah.
just it's like
So technically, you have your inventory project, which you clone and people are working with it. Yes. So then you put them all into one computer under different names or different directories, and from one of them you create server project. Just pushing the button, create server project. And because all of them have the same structure, then you can go one by one, run synchronization, connect to that server project, run synchronization, and so on.
What if I want to change the project structure? Where do I do that?
You do this also in one of those projects
One of those.
using a project manager, and then you use there is an option send structure. And Peter can maybe show you show it. So there is there is synchronization in the menu, and if you change structure of the project.
okay, so this is my original project, this example, and I want to add some new attribute. So now I change the structure of the project. So when I compile it, of course, it's automatically added to the database. But when I synchronize it now, this new attribute not will appear in the server. I have to say that I want to post this project to synchronization. Or I can post project and lookup list to synchronization, or only lookup list, but I can set, for example, post project to synchronization, just information that it was stored in the Symfony journal. And then when I go to data pointer and run synchronization, so now it's recorded that this new structure is ready for sending to the server. And when I synchronize it, but I can connect to this MSSQL server. So the structure of the project is stored in some system tables on the server. So later when you connect from other computer where it's not the newest version, so it will be download back. So you can see here it's written updating project structure, but on the server now. So this computer sends this structure to the server, but also on the server is to be add this attribute to the table. So also on the server is updating, and then it will continue to synchronize data, what was deleted, what was added, and so on. So this message, I have information that from the local to server was sent new structure of the project. And then continue the standard synchronization. If I change some data, it will be synchronized with this new data. If I delete something, it will be deleted, and so on.
To do this, before Omar said that the user has the explicit permissions to create database and view any database and connect any database that we server state, if I remember well. To do this, are all these explicit permissions still necessary, or can maybe...
It's not necessary because basically, as I said, one option is to have this user as an owner of his database.
Yeah.
If he's this owner, he doesn't have to have any other rights. but if you want to create new server project, you have to have rights to create database. And if you want to connect to database, but you are not the owner, you need to have rights to connect any database. Or actually there is a way to specify which database you can connect or not. But as a user that should be able to do everything with the synchronization, you should have also option to create a database, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to create a new server synchronization sector.
So I sent this new structure to the server, so you can see that here is my new attribute I created. And when I open the second project, this my new project, so this attribute will be missing here. So it's not here. So now I am, let's say, some field worker who are in the field, and then I run the synchronization. But not with Firebird, but I will do it with my server, because I send it to MSSQL. And so you can see that the new structure is download from the server to the local project. Then of course it's necessary to compile the project, so to add to the database. So after the synchronization is finished, it will be necessary to restart the data collector. It's just warning, it's closed, and when I start again my new project, so I will have this attribute available and continue collection of data.
Okay, there's one thing I wanted to show you also, and that's that we don't usually create for each field-map user, we don't create user in the SQL server. We usually only have one user that connects to field-map, and all the users that run synchronization have this definition there, and that is this username. And we don't specify it for each field-map user, we just use it once.
So the authorization is two levels. One level is user in field-map, so every record is marked by the user and so on. And the second level,
After 10 years or after 5 years, you make analyze who did that, who know that species there at that moment, so you can also recover those data.
Well, if you keep the backups for so long, you could,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it would be a lot of data.
Yeah.
Each record has information who added the record and who did edit the last.
no, but I think you can't do that in fact, because what is going on is that when you are working with your field computer, and if you are using user accounts, this is very important. So then you are running data collector, you are logged in under your name, and then from this moment on, every record, not attribute, of the database is marked by your name, and it's at name and edit name. So there is name of the of the person who created record, and then there is a name of the person who last time edited, and also time is recorded there. And then if you synchronize, then of course it's stored and it can be recovered to any time, but the information when it happened is on the record level, not on the attribute level. So actually, if you go back to some record of the trees level and you change one of the attributes, then still this edit date attribute will be changed at that moment. Because if you can imagine, you can imagine that if we would like to do this on the level of attributes, so for every attribute we would need several extra attributes just recording this information, and it would be hardly possible. But this is the same way. It's quite common. All databases which work with the rollback, commit, and these transactions, they also work on the record level.
What is also important information if something happened during the synchronization. So you lose connection, for example, so there is the rollback, which is mentioned by Martin, that the database is recovered to the same status like was before the synchronization.
Automatically.
And the person who did start the synchronization gets a message from it has not been finished.
Yeah, he will see on the log that it was not finished properly.
So he has to look if it was okay. He doesn't get a message or it's
You have screen of the synchronization and there is a lock there. So there are two options. One option is that you lose connection. So then there is a pop-up message box saying the connection was lost and so on. The other possibility, theoretical possibility, is that your computer crashed somehow and then, but you don't get extra information that synchronization was not finished. It would be possible otherwise. Yeah, otherwise it would be possible, but we didn't do that, to send message from server that synchronization was successful. But it's hardly possible to send information that it was not successful.
So also it's very important that when two people synchronize at the same moment, the same plot, so it's not possible, of course. So the first who come and start with synchronization, so lock the plot, entire plot. But there is a function that the second person will try synchronization, it don't succeed, so you will get information that the plot is locked. But you can set in some init file that after 2 minutes it try again, and it can try 10 times, 100 times, until it's free and can finish the synchronization.